What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today is episode 2 of the Jack and Jack podcast. And today we're going to hit some big topics, very controversial with the NCAA and college basketball and how they're playing in with the G League. So I guess first off, we'll kind of inform you on what's going on. Earlier this month, and I think maybe late last month, number one overall prospect, Jalen Green, high school basketball player in the country, decided to forego playing in college basketball and chosen to go participate in the NBA's new G League, which is like a developmental league. And he took a little bit of a sum there, $500,000 upwards of, they're saying.
Mhm.
And it's been followed by two other players. Isaiah Todd, he decommitted from Michigan and is now going to participate in the G League. And so is Daishin Nix. He was originally going to go to UCLA. So I guess first off, Jack, what is your first thoughts on those three players
Yeah.
and what they're doing?
So my first thoughts would be that it's a great move by the NBA, just to get those guys out of the college game, kind of develop their players. And it's a wake up call to the NCAA as well, because if your best players are not going to go play college basketball, then there's obviously a big problem there, and there's going to be something they can do about that, um, without paying them. But it's obviously a big issue for the NCAA and the game of college basketball.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard. I mean the huge move by the NBA to get their players, get them developed get them ready for the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean it's a hefty minimum sum of $125,000 at the age of 18. Pretty hard to turn down. Although UNC, big commit to UNC, Caleb Love, point guard, said that the G League contacted him and he is 100% going to continue to stay at North Carolina. So that's a big win for the NCAA. But we'll start with the question of, all right, Jack. So if you're the number one player in the country, basketball player in the country, you have offer from anywhere you want to go to, any college basketball, wherever you want to go. Are you taking the G League? Are you going to go overseas? Are you going to go for 1 year to NCAA, or what do you think? What's your move?
Yeah. I think I'm going NCAA. The main reason being just the coaching, for one, because I don't know that the G League has like phenomenal coaches like Roy Williams, Coach K, those type of guys. Um, I also feel like you get more attention in college basketball, just with like March Madness is huge. A lot of people watch college basketball. I don't know if anybody's really watching the G League. So just because you're getting more attention, it is a risk, going there that year, possibly getting injured. But I feel like in the long run, if you go to college and you're that good, you're a one and done talent, then it's kind of worth it to go to college that 1 year and then go make your money in the NBA the next year. So
Yeah, I'd have to say though, I think if I was the number one player in the country at 18 years old, they're offering me around $500,000 like
yeah,
Jalen Green. No, I don't have to go to class next year. All I have to do is focus on basketball. I mean, $500,000 is a lot of money for 1 year, especially at the age of 18.
yeah,
I think if I'm number one, I mean, the G League, they're playing a 50-game regular season. College basketball is 30. NBA regular season is 82 games. They're going to get you ready. I think that season prepares you. And if your main goal is to get the NBA, I think that's a big move. But I do think that going to the college basketball grows your brand. Like,
yeah,
like I think if Zion Williamson last year did not go to Duke and he went to the G League and took that money, is Zion Williams as big as he is right now? I think the Duke brand and Coach K and playing on those big games late down the stretch, I think it grows his brand and I think it ups his worth, especially with like Nike and Jordan and the guys who are going to try and sign you. But I still think $125,000 minimum is very hard to turn down. Um, and so also another thing I want to kind of point out is that the G League, I thought, because you always hear about G League players that kind of come up to the NBA and like get promoted. So in my head, I was thinking that sounds just like the minor leagues of
no,
MLB baseball. But I I did some research and I kind of looked into it, and the G League is mostly unaffiliated players, but there's teams that have affiliates. So, like the Cleveland Cavaliers have a team in Canton. They're called the Canton something, whatever. So you can be sent down there by the team, but they only have like 3 or 4 players. So I was thinking like, oh, Jalen Green, like why wouldn't he be in the NBA draft? Like whoever G League team he signs with, like that's who the NBA team gets. That's kind of like a little unfair or whatever that he has. Like why wouldn't he just go right to the NBA? So that's how that works. They have a certain affiliated players, and they have two-way contract players who play both ways if they need to. And then there's team players that just come back like from college, undrafted guys that go play for them, tryouts, whatnot. But I think this is a huge problem for the NCAA, and I think that something needs to be done. And I don't think that what they have right now with the one and done system is really sufficient for college basketball. So I don't know, Jack. What's your thought? Do you think that the NCAA could kind of like fix what they got going on with the one and done? Because I don't know if that's healthy for the game, but again, I think for NCAA, it's better than having those guys go to the G League.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, these guys going straight to G League, it's a wake up call, and I think the way I'm pretty sure they announced they're gonna allow them like profit off their names coming in the future. I think it's a great call because it's not as much money as going to G League, but you're gonna make a little bit of money, if you're good enough. But the one and done, I think that's probably gonna come to an end because I mean, if you're a one and done guy, it's a tough call to go to college instead of the G League, even though there's better coaching and stuff like that. It's still a lot of money just to go to the G League. Even though the one and dones are exciting to watch in college basketball, I think they're kind of going to move away from that just because those guys are going to be kind of enticed by that money in the G League. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but it's definitely going to be interesting to look at.
Yeah, and so the NCAA just announced they're planning to move ahead with the idea that athletes can profit off their likeness,
Yeah,
which means like semi endorsements, whatnot. And so I think that's a big step for the NCAA to kind of combat the G League crisis and the overseas crisis that they've been seeing the past couple of years. Because if you think about it, I think it's going to college basketball. I think it grows your brand over the G League. I said that. And if you're like a Zion Williams or you're, I don't know, what's his name from UNC?
Cole Anthony.
Uh, Oh yeah, if you're a Cole Anthony, you're like one of these hyped up prospects. When you get to college, all of a sudden, instead of like not being able to do anything, you can all of a sudden go on your Instagram and say, "Yo, this company so and so, they're awesome. You guys should hit them up. I love all their clothes and whatever."
That's a good point. Yeah,
And they can pay you for that all of a sudden. So that's like a huge game changer. I mean, Zion Williams would probably have made a killing in college of money just from doing that type of endorsement. Um, so I think that's a big step. And I also want to get your thoughts on how do you think that portrays to possibly everyone's favorite NCAA football coming back from EA Sports? You got any thoughts on that?
Um, well, I heard today that they're not going to be making another one. It's something with I have no idea, but I really that's one of the greatest games ever. I love that game, so I hope they're able to bring that one back. Um, but yeah, I heard that they're not going to be able to do it though, which sucks.
Yeah. So it's one of the greatest games ever. Everyone loves it, and I think that it would be only. I think EA Sports would make a killing off of bringing it back, but some of the consequences I heard is obviously it stopped. It was stopped being made because of players were basically like their images and stuff were in the game, and like they're not getting any kickback from it. So they were a little bit upset, and so some unions said whatever, and the NCAA said, you can't make the game anymore. And now that the players could be paid, though, there was hope that it might return, and it looks to be kind of shut off because of the fact that there's a lot of NCAA football players out there, and for them to pay all of them, that's a lot of money, and they're gonna have to profit big time. But I think I was seeing all over Twitter that people would pay like double the price, triple the price just to play NCAA again because it truly was a really really good game. and I hope it returns. But that's that right now. Do a little debrief of the draft. We gave you our preview and our thoughts beforehand. So let's move into who do you think is the biggest winner of this year's NFL draft?
Um, I really like the Cowboys' first round pick getting CeeDee Lamb. I think he's really good, and they got him super late. He's gonna be a great weapon for Prescott. I know a lot of people were hating on the Panthers taking defensive tackle first round and not getting Simmons. They got a lot of defensive talent. I think that's going to be good for them. And even a lot of people were hating on the Eagles as well for taking Jalen Hurts, but I've heard a lot of things about the offense they're going to run with Hurts and Wentz, and it's really interesting. And I think that's going to be really tough for teams to deal with this year. So I like those three teams in the draft this year.
Yeah, being a Panthers fan, I was definitely sitting there at pick 7, like, yes, Isaiah Simmons is
Yeah.
still there, and I did really want him. I said that before, but I'm honestly, as the days have progressed on, I do like the pick of Derrick Brown. He missed like 5 tackles in his entire career at Auburn. He's a for sure one of the best D linemen in the draft, not even close. And the Panthers went all defense. I think they addressed their needs. I think they addressed the secondary and the D line. When Yermo Grossmato from Penn State, another big pass rusher. And it looks like they're getting ready to gear up to rush Tom Brady and Drew Brees and all of them. So I do think that they kind of won the draft, especially with the weapons they already have on offense with, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, and now bringing in Teddy Bridgewater. I think that kind of addresses. I wish they would have went with one O lineman. I think that's a place that the Panthers need to improve on. But I do like the pick. I like the safety pick out of Southern Illinois. I think it was.
Great. Yeah.
He's a hard hitter, very slept on prospect. But I think another winner of the draft is the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens got away with, I think, the biggest steal of the draft in J.K. Dobbins in the second round. Very late, like the 4th or 5th running back taken off the board. And I think, personally, I thought he was the best running back in the game. Him and Lamar Jackson and all those guys that they already had, adding him to the #1 rushing attack last year is going to be lethal. They also added Malik Harrison, solid linebacker from Ohio State as well. I like the Patriots style there. They traded back at the end of the first round and took Kyle Duggar from Lenoir-Rhyne. I think he's going to be really good. He's a raw prospect. That's just the Patriots way. You don't take a quarterback. So I guess who else do I like? I thought the Giants. Oh, we'll go biggest losers of the draft. Who do you think had the worst draft performances?
Well, I didn't really pay attention to the late rounds, but definitely the Packers taking Jordan Love in the first round. I don't know what they were doing. You got Aaron Rodgers, former MVP, Super Bowl champion as your quarterback. Even though he's old, if you get him some weapons, he'll do so much better, especially with the receivers. I mean, I know he's got Devontae Adams, but he doesn't have much to throw to. So I think the Packers did a terrible job in the first round. That's pretty much all I got for losers. I don't know much about it, but yeah, the Packers were terrible.
Yeah, I think definitely Packers big loss for them. Not only just because he's going to be your backup, but because I think you put Aaron Rodgers in a place where he doesn't kind of trust the organization anymore. So I think that's a big loss for them, and I think that the New York Giants are a bit of a loser. I think taking like the offense tackle out of Georgia, Andrew, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Yeah, taking him out of Georgia over the guy from Bama and the other guy, I think that's kind of questionable. I don't think he can go wrong with offensive linemen, but I think that they could have taken a better one. Obviously, they want to protect Danny Dimes. So I think they kind of lost in some way. And I don't like the Eagles taking Jalen Hurts. I know that they're probably going to plan to use them a bunch of different ways, but personally, I think that's just kind of questionable. And I think they had a lot more needs. They also went Jalen Reagor first round over
Justin
Jefferson. I think I would have taken Justin Jefferson over Jalen Reagor. And I even think maybe I would even trade it up to get CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they knew they were going to get wide receiver, and moving up 4 positions to jump the Cowboys or whatever it was, I think wouldn't have been too costly. And I think for CD Lamb, it would have been pretty important. So I think they did lose somewhat there. Um, yeah. So then I guess we're gonna wrap today's show up with Jameis Winston. What are your thoughts? Jameis Winston signing to the New Orleans Saints.
I think he got extremely lucky with that. Like, I mean, Drew Brees is kind of on the way out. He might play 1 or 2 more years at the most. He's going to get behind him, watch one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, play football, learn from him, and then come in with an offense that's already loaded. A great coach has won Super Bowl before. Though he's not playing like right now, I think it's just a perfect situation for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I 100% agree. For Jameis Winston, as a Panthers fan, it hurts that he's going to get the chance to kind of grow and flourish the next year or two under under Drew Brees. But again, if Drew Brees, this might be it. Could be his last year. Maybe that's why they felt they needed to go ahead and get him and sign him.
Yeah.
And for having him 1 year under growth, and then next year he'll be able to throw to targets like Michael Thomas, be able to hand the ball off to Alvin Kamara. I think that's huge. So I definitely think he's going to be dangerous. And I think the NFC South is going to remain really, really good. Obviously with Tom Brady moving in, you already got Matt Ryan in Atlanta, and I think the Panthers are going to be on their way up.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. All right. So that's episode 2. Let us know if you guys got any comments on what we should talk about next episode. And if you guys want to see any special guests, let us know. See you.